wanted to do another swap your screen time for read time video. We did one of these in the past and we actually really enjoyed it. I feel like it's a lot easier to do than the 24-hour challenges because we get pretty like tired with those.
And it's so eye-opening to see like how much we're on our phones. It's ridiculous.
But I love the idea of swapping it for actually like reading and doing something we like.
And my average has been around 7 to 8 hours every time. But that's like the amount of time it takes me to read a full book.
Yeah, I'm gonna check now to see what mine is.
Oh, I don't even want to put myself on the spot like this. My last week's average was 8 hours and 3 minutes.
My last week's average was 7 hours and 22 minutes. So we're averaging around the same. Maybe to like be in between both of ours, we'll read for like 7.5 hours. Since we don't live together, we find it easiest to do these types of videos on the weekend because we know we're gonna have both days free and we can just do this for both days. So that's what we're gonna do today.
I really just chose what you guys were most excited for in the November TBR, which just made me more excited. So the first one I'm gonna start with is Scythe by Neil Shusterman. I know. Crazy.
So excited.
If you watched our November TBR, then you know this has been on my shelf for forever and I've just been wanting to read something new, something different, and I think this will just be the perfect one. I know Neil Shusterman and his son are coming out with a new book called Gleanings that goes on with the series. I want to be really excited about it, so I'm ready to just dive into this, see what all the hype is about. This is a YA dystopian book. It's around 445 pages, so I think it'll take me 7-8 hours to finish this, which is perfect.
I'm so excited to be here while you're reading it because I'm gonna want updates every chapter. So the first one I have for today is None Shall Sleep by Ellie Marnie. I'm very excited for this one because I do like YA mystery thrillers. I love the idea of teens pairing up with the FBI to find teenage serial killers, so I'm interested to see what the actual story is gonna be about. But I also love the cover and I feel like this will be the perfect size to read today. I believe it's just under 400 pages. This one seems doable. I'm ready to just get started, honestly. I can't believe our screen times are so long.
I don't even want to talk about it. I will give myself an excuse though because I do listen to a lot of audiobooks and that definitely does count in time. So
mine's just TikTok.
Yeah.
So I don't have any excuses for mine.
So we're just gonna read a little bit and then come back and update you guys.
We have a long day ahead of us, so I'm ready to get into it.
Let's get started.
Update. We've been reading for a little bit. We're a good chunk of the way in our books.
I am so into mine, which is surprising because I was honestly a little worried.
I was worried for you.
But I'm just immediately like into it, loving it, loving this plot. It's exactly what I said. Like I wanted something new and different and this is new and different to me. I knew going into it, it was a story that took place in a world where humanity has conquered death and war and just everything bad, honestly. But now reading a little more, I know that the internet has turned into this thunderhead where it just understands every single thing that there is to know, and it's just become this entire being. The people have nanites in their bodies that help them heal and mask pain, so even if they do die, they're going to be revived and back to good health within 2 to 3 days. I think that is crazy. Like just to think about that, like if that truly did happen, how would we act?
Like no one would care.
No one would care about anything. In order to solve the population problem in this world, there have been appointed sides who are in charge of taking lives and what they call gleaning. Our main characters are Citra and Rowan, who find themselves being the new apprentices under the Honorable Scythe Faraday. Even though they both don't want to be Scythes, they're learning a lot about gleanings and the history of it and the art of it and how to do it in an honest and respectable way. I do think the way that Scythe Faraday goes about his gleanings is very cool and unique. It's very much statistical and he goes about it in a way that would make sense in deaths in our time and in real world. I think that would be like the perfect way to do it rather than just like random people in one way or another in this world or old worlds. You would have already died anyway. I'm really enjoying it right now. I'm really liking the characters. I think all of the main characters are super interesting and likable and I'm really excited to see where the story goes.
You're making me want to reread it. I'm also really enjoying this story, and I wasn't sure because I don't see too much about this book. I have seen it before, like on Bookstagram, but for the most part, I don't often see it. And I'm honestly just really enjoying the pacing and the characters off the bat. We kind of just jump into the story. A lot of times we have like the background information, and we didn't really get that here, and I appreciate that because I'm very much just wanting to get into the plot myself. In the story, we're following an FBI agent, Agent Cooper. He's working on a case right now, and he really wants to interview past serial killers that are already locked up in hopes to try and figure out their motives, their preparations, and apply that to his case right now to see if he could stop this killer early on. The only issue is the current killer, they're pretty sure, is a teenager. So in order to figure out the motives behind this teenage killer, he's trying to interview these other juvenile serial killers that are locked up. But of course, they're kids. They don't really want to talk to FBI agents, especially because they're already caught. He decides he wants to recruit 2 other teenagers to come in and interview these serial killers in hopes that, you know, they find them relatable. They'd rather talk to a kid their age than some FBI agent. So that's exactly what he does. I do like the 2 teenagers he's recruited. I find them really interesting, and they have pasts of their own as well. Right now, we have this killer on the loose that they've nicknamed the Butcher, and it's a lot more graphic than I've kind of thought a YA mystery thriller would be, but it is very good.
We're really enjoying our books right now, so we're gonna keep on reading.
Hopefully the next update we're already done. That would be the goal. If we didn't say already, it's currently Saturday and it is now 3:12 and we're about almost halfway through our books. So we're gonna keep on trucking and see where we end up.
Finished our books.
We have finished.
So good. So good. Okay, let me take it back. I think when we stopped, I was like halfway.
Okay.
Halfway mark. There's just a lot happening right now. There's a lot of twists and turns just in the middle of the book that I wasn't expecting. We learn that there's a whole group of corrupt sides who are just going against multiple rules in this world. Their leader is Scythe Goddard, who I can't stand. Scythe Goddard is just completely problematic. He misuses his power and he really just kills and murders people for pleasure and then calls them gleanings because he has the power to glean. In this group, they really just think that they can get anything they want, and because they are of size and people are terrified of them, it kind of just works out in the way that he wants it to.
It's just them on a power trip.
It is. And you know what? Not to get into politics, but it's very political in that sense.
It is.
So in the middle of the book, everything wrong that could possibly happen is happening. Throughout the entire second half, I'm just like, I need this to happen, I need this to happen, I need this to happen towards the end, and I got everything I wanted. The ending was perfect. There was no other way that it could have ended and it would have been better. I can't wait to read the second one now. I just wish there was like a speck of more romance, just a little bit. Like, I know it's YA, but I would have liked just a little bit more romance.
I know what you mean.
It's either a 4.5 or a 5, but if I'm second guessing if I'm gonna give it a 5, then is it a 5?
I'm so glad you liked it. A part of me was a little worried because we do kind of like different books at times, and I didn't know about this one. Get ready because the rest of the series is so good. Okay, I guess I'll talk about mine now. I ended up actually really enjoying this one as well, though. And I mean, I don't know why I'm surprised. I do love YA. Mystery thrillers I love as well, and I just feel like YA does it good. I think since it is YA, they keep it entertaining the whole way through. They know the attention spans need to be a little bit like quicker and to the point, and it's so good. I obviously don't want to talk about any specifics about this specific case because I thought it was so interesting, and if you do want to read it, I don't want to give you any information about it, but I did really like the storytelling, the writing yet again. The case was interesting and very entertaining. There is a juvenile serial killer that has been locked up for the past couple years, okay? And this is someone they keep going to for information and insight of what do you think this current killer, what do you think his motives are, what do you think his preparations are, and things like that. And we're getting a lot of information from this guy, and I really like his character. He's so interesting, and yes, he's a murderer, so I don't like him in that sense, but just all of, you know, like the insight, the way he acts, I really enjoyed him as a character. I was a little bit impressed too because it kind of made me a little jumpy, and I normally do get like that with mystery thrillers, especially if there's a suspense aspect, but this one I just felt kind of like, what was that sound? You know what I mean? Like, I was a little on edge, but I love books that do that. The ending, I thought they wrapped together really well. There was some surprising scenes in here, and I was shocked. I enjoyed everything that happened. I honestly wish they would do a second book just to see like what's gonna happen to all the characters. It did remind me a little bit of other stories that involve like cases and agents and unsolved mysteries and things like that, but I did really like it. I would say this is so solid. I think I might give it a 4-star. I would recommend this one. None Shall Sleep, you guys. Go check it out, especially if you liked the other YA mystery thrillers. One of Us is Lying, A Good Girl's Guide to Murder, things like that.
Good first picks.
Great first pick for you.
Great first pick.
We made it on good time. It's only 6:38 p.m.
It definitely took me a little longer.
But your book was longer.
Yeah.
We read the whole 7.5 hours. That's perfect.
That's crazy.
It honestly,
we're on that phone for so long.
But it went by quick while reading.
Well, that's because we read some good books.
That's true. That's true.
It was a great first day. We're going to pick back up tomorrow with some new books to read. We will see you guys tomorrow morning.
Okay guys, it's a new day. We're back and ready to read for another 7.5 hours. I'm ready to get another book in. I picked out for today Love on the Brain by Ali Hazelwood. You guys know we love The Love Hypothesis. I believe we might have read The Love Hypothesis in our previous video of this. Just continuing on theme, I have high hopes for this one. I have heard mixed reviews. Same deal, enemies to lovers romance, workplace romance. Interested to see if I'm gonna like it.
I chose to read The Confidence of Wildflowers in our November TBR. So many of you guys were saying you really liked this book or you're really excited to see what I think about it, and I'm excited to jump into it. I know this is an age gap romance. I'm interested to see if this is something that I'm gonna mind. I know the only age gap romance I've read is Daisy and Reich from the Calloway Sisters series, but I always feel like that age gap isn't too much to bother me. But this one is a completely different story. This is 18 and 31. I'm hoping the story is strong enough to carry this.
Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and get started and then update you guys in a little bit. Okay, here's what happened. I need to explain myself a little bit because the last time we saw you guys, my initial plan was to read Love on the Brain, right? Let me tell you guys, I tried. I promise you. Here's the thing. I know early on in books if I'm feeling it. And I do think eventually, maybe later in the month, I'll get around to it. I couldn't sit here and read this all day. Like, I just know it. Just based off of the opening, I was like, I'm not feeling it, you guys. And I wanted to make sure I could read the whole book. So I decided to switch my book to Sky in the Deep by Adrienne Young. And you guys, if you've been around, you know. I believe in the beginning of the year, maybe February, this has been on my list, my physical TBR since then. I loved Adrienne Young's writing. I wanted to get more of her books, and I did. I just never got around to reading this one. I decided today's the day. I know hers. We really like the Fable duet. They go by pretty quick too. I wanted to read this one, and I started it, and I love it. So I'm so glad that I ended up switching over to this one. I loved my book yesterday. I wanted the same thing for today, and I just didn't think I could get through that one right now. So to start, this one is a YA fantasy. It's about Vikings, and I was excited because I never read a book like that. There's two like enemy clans that have this blood feud, and basically their entire lives are dedicated to fighting one another every 5 years. There's such hatred in between them that even when they're kids, their whole like life goal is to get old enough so that they can fight the other clans and, you know, be old enough to be in the battle with their older brothers and sisters and everything. Very much their lives are surrounded by fighting, surviving, and battling this enemy clan. I do love that setup already. We're in the point of view of this 17-year-old girl. She's a Viking warrior, and this is not a spoiler because it's in the summary and it happens in the first chapter. She lost her brother 5 years ago, and she's definitely still grieving him and trying to get through that. And the opening scene, she's on the battlefield in the middle of a battle, and she ends up seeing her dead brother that she watched die 5 years ago fighting for the enemy clan, right? And this is absolutely insanity because she does not understand what she's seeing. She ends up following him and gets captured by the enemy clan. That's where we are right now. She is basically being held captive and trying to figure out like, what is the deal with my brother? What happened? How did he get here? And did I just make a mistake following him over here? Super into it right now. It's very entertaining. A lot of action already right off the bat. I really love Adrienne Young's writing. She just knows how to do it.
She's good.
She's good. And I mean, this is a small book. I'm barely only halfway, and I mean, it's already so entertaining. Very happy with this pick. I'm loving it so far, you guys. I don't know why I waited so long to read it.
The Confidence of Wildflowers is going good. The more I get to know the characters, I'm a little less bothered about the age gap thing. Right off the bat, we're following our main character, Salem. She is the 18-year-old girl. Right next door, she has new neighbors. We're introduced to Thayer, which is the 31-year-old male. He's super hot, he's perfect, he's everything, but he is a grump. Slow burn, it's grumpy sunshine, it's age gap.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a lot of different tropes. Something I wasn't prepared for going into this was our main character has dealt with some really crazy past trauma. I definitely didn't expect it to be that heavy. I just felt like this would be like a light, fun read. Salem and Thayer form a connection, and Thayer asks Salem if she would be comfortable babysitting his kid, and she does, and we get introduced to this kid, and he's so cute, and they just have a really good time together. So we can already tell there's like this little family forming. We know like she isn't interested in going to college. She has her own little business with herself and her mom. So she's just comfortable with where she's at right now. She's not really trying to like go off and do all these crazy things. She starts babysitting this kid. Her and they are forming this really cute love connection. They've been trying to fight it off and not really even try to bring up the conversation, but it's getting harder and harder for them to ignore it. So right here in the middle, things are starting to happen.
It's already 4, so we're a little bit later than yesterday, but we're gonna just keep on reading and hopefully finish soon. I'd say it's been pretty good so far.
Yeah.
Super glad I switched. Guys, we're done. Second day complete. We finished our books. Let's bring it back a little bit. During the halfway update, I feel like a lot's happened since then. I obviously can't talk about specifics again without spoiling it, but just as an overall, I really enjoyed this one. Love the characters. They're always super relatable. And something that I really love is even though her books tend to be shorter books, 400 pages or less, she's able to create this connection with the characters in the world. Like, I care about these people. You know, it's not a full-on series. It's a short little standalone, and yet I deeply care about this story and these people. So I love that she's able to do that. Yes, I feel like now that I've read a little more fantasy, and I mean a little bit more, I can see like a lot of common things that happen, but I still really enjoyed this one. Like, it's a quick, easy read. It felt very involved even though it wasn't, and I'm just really here for all of her books. I want to buy her other ones, Spell for Forgetting, and then Saints coming out.
Ooh, Saints.
Yeah, it's coming out so soon, so I'm definitely gonna get on to her other books, but I just really overall enjoyed it. Definitely check out her writing if you haven't already. All of her books, I feel like they never fail. Honestly, I see myself giving it a 4. If I'm being real picky, I might do a 3.75, but I think this one was really good, so maybe a 4.
Let me just backtrack really quick, because 15% towards the end of this book, I was seriously like, what the heck just happened right now? Like, I mean, shocked.
Like, you said that out loud.
Yeah.
You were like, what?
I had to go reread because I was like, there's no way this is happening right now. And that is just not something I was expecting. Nothing else is in my mind about this book but what just happened. I will say the author did a really great job on ending this book so that you want to read her next one. It was just pain. And I wasn't expecting pain. The whole book is like, this relationship is growing and everything's going good, and she's like getting over past trauma, and then like something just hits you. And then we're done and move on to book 2. It definitely was a good fall read. We had some pumpkin picking in it. They were like carving pumpkins. They're constantly making cupcakes. They went and picked out Christmas trees and they were decorating. The vibe and like the setting of the story was really cute, and it was very easy to imagine the setting and this couple and these characters. Like you said, if I'm nitpicking, it's 3.75. I feel like I just want to give it a 4. So yeah, I'm gonna give it a 4 stars, and I'm really interested in reading the next one.
Solid second book. Every time we do these videos, we pick good books.
We do. We're so good.
I mean, I had to change mine, but my second pick was good.
What a great day of reading. What a great weekend of reading.
Yeah.
We got 2 books done.
We could be reading a book a day.
We could. And it's crazy.
That should be a challenge for 1 month. That's gonna be it pretty much for today's video. Let us know in the comments if you guys have read any of these books here today, or if you want to read them. We actually just made an Amazon storefront, so we're gonna link all of these books in that storefront in the bio. We just wanted to make one because a lot of you guys ask, you know, what are our favorite books? You want like a compiled list of like recommendations by genre, so we have that on there. And a lot of you guys ask what equipment we use, so we're gonna have all of that linked on our Amazon storefront. If you want to check that out, you can go ahead and check it out.
Yeah.
It'll be in the description.
Thank you guys so much for watching. We do post new videos every Wednesday and Friday, so make sure you like and subscribe if you haven't already, and we will see you next time. And I've been wanting, oh, what is that?
Oh my god, I was about to freak out. It's the sun.